Cristiano, your last visit to India was in October of 2022, nearly 18 months ago. You met the Prime Minister, you discussed the 5G opportunity, the semiconductor plans in India. So what's been the big change that you've observed when it comes to India in the last 18 months and Qualcomm's presence in India? How has it changed?
Very good. Well, first of all, a significant change. I think we're incredibly excited about not only the number of opportunities in India, the growth of India, but the commitment to digital and to technology, commitment to digital technology. It's very exciting. And I think from that time to now, we have seen a number of opportunities in partnerships expand.
In fact, there was a Gautam Adani tweet that was put out earlier after you met with him, and he's excited to know about Qualcomm's plans in semiconductor, AI, mobility, edge appliance, and even your plans and commitment to India. So talk about how Qualcomm's partnerships in India have gone up in the last 18 months, and is Adani a new partnership that you're looking?
Very good. Look, I will start by saying, first of all, India is starting to play an important role in many industries. So, for example, Automotive is one of them, and I think we're very proud to be partnered with all the India auto companies, whether it's connected cars, some of the digital cockpit experience. Actually, we created a completely new product line for India, with India, for example, the two-wheeler market, especially how you bring the two-wheeler market into a digital experience as well. I think all vehicles are really becoming a new computing space. That's one example of an opportunity. The other one is the growth of broadband. Some of the projects we have been making in broadband, whether it's wireless, and now even excited about opportunity to go beyond wireless, even to fiber as well. You look at Qualcomm technologies across 5G, fiber, Wi-Fi. The other one that I think is a new opportunity is industrial. One of the goals of Qualcomm is this broad digital transformation that is happening at the edge. And with that, I think a lot of the industries in India, they're going through the process of transformation, create an interception point, new relationship, new partnerships, some of that you mentioned earlier.
So just the India revenue right now, what does it stand at? Because it's a large market for you. And if you could break it up in terms of the various segments and the businesses. So how much comes from automotive? How much comes from smartphones and even industrials, a new space that you're targeting? Is it possible to segment this?
We don't disclose, but what I can tell you is it's growing. And we're excited because it's not only growing historically as a market that consumes technology, but as a market that is now growing with technology. We call that direct revenue. Indian customers sourcing chipsets in semiconductors to build their products. And that's growing. I'll look at the growth rate, for example, from 22 to 23 as an example of our direct revenue. It's one of the highest that we have in other regions.
You know what? I was reading somewhere, just preparing for this interview, and Savi Soin, the Qualcomm India president, he said that Qualcomm spends in India in 4 months what AMD spends in 4 to 5 years, and Qualcomm spends in India in 8 to 9 months what Micron plans to spend in a decade. And that's a big statement. So tell us, how much has Qualcomm invested in India and what are the future investment plans?
What I will say, we started investing in India before it was popular. And I think we're very proud, of how significant India is for Qualcomm. When you think about, for example, Qualcomm employees in India, we have been building a presence in India now for more than a decade now. We have very important sites across Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai, which are going to inaugurate a new building, Noida. And what is unique, Qualcomm has done a lot of advanced R&D in India. A lot of our chips, if not all of them, are designed in India. And I think we're very proud of that. And that presence in India, which is very significant, is also creating opportunities, given the number of resources we have here, for a number of Indian companies propelled by this digital India to enter the semiconductor space. And I think that positioned Qualcomm in a very unique spot within the Indian market.
So I'll get to the semiconductor opportunity, but before that, I was also very excited to know that Qualcomm is working on a chip which will enable a very affordable 5G smartphone, a sub $99 smartphone. So a cheaper chip will enable a cheaper handset. So tell us your plans. on
Yes.
this front?
Maybe I'll step back a little bit and talk about the big picture. One of the greatest thing about 5G, and we want to see 5G coverage continue to expand in India. We wanted to see like a lot of 5G services. And the interesting about 5G is the only technology that actually can support the growth of mobile data, support high speeds, unlimited data rates for consumers. And you see a lot of 5G phones right now. They're premium, the high-tier phones. The majority of the market is still people buy a 4G phone, and we want everybody to experience 5G. And I think with that, we see two vectors that enable that. One is the 5G networks are becoming more modern, and the opportunity exists for the operators in India to invest in what we call SA, standalone network. Once you do that, then you enable the opportunity to actually bring some of those 5G devices at very attractive price points. And I think that's what we're working on. We're announcing on a chipset shortly. We think we can build with our ecosystem of partners devices at those price points as early as the second half of this year. We'll love to have, this is an opportunity to have an India smartphone OEM. And I think the great thing is about start converting all of the 4G base into 5G, get all consumers to access 5G, and then allow operators to refarm that spectrum. So there's a lot of good things coming out of this project.
So you're in conversations with your Indian telecom OEMs, you know, your some of your partners here, and you're saying that they will start, you know, manufacturing these devices at a very attractive price in the second half of this year.
That's what we want.
Is Jio, because you have already a partnership with
We've been working
Jio.
with all operators, and we're working with all OEMs to enable those devices. I think the opportunity here is really to think about 5G broadly and bring 5G to everyone.
Okay, very exciting to hear that. You know, Cristiano, I was at MWC, and AI has become this focal marketing message for all flagship launches now. We've already had AI in smartphones for some time now, but what about generative AI in smartphones?
Very good. It's a great question. Actually, one of my favorite questions is to talk about this because we're 100% convinced that Gen AI will fundamentally change how we think about our devices. The way I will describe this, and we start introducing this comment, actually before MWC in our tech summit last year, that you're going to have this AI agent on your phone that the job will be to be running all the time and to basically try to predict your every movement. And what's exciting about this is we're starting to see some very attractive use cases, but that's just the beginning. We don't know what developer is going to come up. As an example, the Galaxy S24 Ultra from Samsung that just launched, you can do live translation. It looked like science fiction. You can call somebody and talk in one language and they hear in another language. You see a number of different things you can do with photography. But the exciting thing is it will change how we fundamentally interact with devices. We're going to move from the app economy to apps coexisting with the AI economy. And what is interesting is something as simple as a text. Like you text somebody, the text that you write on the phone, when you have the AI running on the device, that could be a query to a Gen AI model, and the model was always asking itself, what is this text that you just write? Is there an action for me? And maybe there will be one. Do you need to call an Uber? Do you want to book a restaurant? Do you want to share a photo? Do you want to contact somebody? Do you want me to pull a document for you? And I think that's going to start to change how we interact. And one of the most exciting things we did at MWC, we announced something called the AI Hub that basically has over 75 models already ported into our chipsets, whether it's a chipset in a phone, whether it's upcoming PC, whether it's eventually also in the car, some IoT platform, so developers can start coming with those use cases. We don't know what they are, but we know that it's fundamentally going to change our industry.
You spoke about an AI agent in everyone's phone, and we're moving from an app economy to an app plus AI. What about an appless phone? Now, Deutsche Telekom and MWC showcased an appless smartphone, and that was quite exciting, but as of now, it's a concept phone. Do you see it turning into a reality where we don't need apps anymore and generative AI can do the job?
Yes, we're working with them on that. And you know, I think that's a very good vision and a concept, and I think show what's possible. When you think about it, Personally, I think that smartphones are here to stay. And I believe that you're going to see a coexistence of the apps and the AI. But it's not just unique to Deutsche Telekom. You're starting to see companies now thinking about devices that are just pure AI agents. Like one of our customers, for example, is Humane, that you can have a wearable device.
AI pen.
You have other customers that talk about devices that you just talk to it or you just you type. But I think the interesting thing is the power of AI plus apps in the smartphones is going to make those devices significantly more useful than they are today. And it is real. I think we're going to see a change from apps into AI agents.
You know, the marketing and the excitement surrounding this Gen AI in a smartphone is not even captured in any of the numbers that we could throw at you right now. But what about generative AI, I presume, is going to be only available in premium smartphones. Now, you're making 5G smartphones available at a very attractive price point, in your words. Do you think you will be able to democratize the generative AI, these next-gen AI smartphones, and it will be available at a cheaper rate? And when do you see an inflection in terms of the availability?
Absolutely. One of the trends of technology the company believe, we were one of the first ones to talk about the concept of hybrid AI and edge AI. And the combination of the cloud with devices at the edge with 5G in between. If you remember back when we talk about launching 5G, we talk in the era of 4G, it was about broadband and personal computing. In the era of 5G, it's 5G plus AI. And the answer is absolutely. As we bring 5G capabilities to all devices, we see an incredible opportunity to also bring Gen AI. And that could be as early as the end of this year.
How many Gen AI smartphones do you think we have right now in the market, and what could that number go up to?
We're just at the beginning of that, but it's interesting. All of the flagship launches that happened in this year of 24, it's all about Gen AI. So it's just the beginning. And I think we expect to see all of the phones that our partners globally are working to launch in the second half of the year in 25 is all about increasing the number of Gen AI use cases. And as I said, what I'm excited about the AI Hub is you often think about what the handset maker is doing with AI. But like the app economy, we don't know what developers are going to do. And I think once you have those Gen AI phones, you're going to start to see they're going to get better and better over time as those use cases get developed.
Now, traditionally, Qualcomm was always known as a smartphone chip, processor, right? But now you've been diversifying into auto and IoT, and now it's a considerable portion of your overall revenues, and auto has been fast growing. What are the other, plans the next 5 years in terms of diversification? How much do you think would be the contribution of smartphones and the contribution of the rest?
Look, one of the things that we don't disclose is the percentage, I think, of revenue that is coming from the diversification plan. But there are some metrics we provide. For example, I'm going to pick auto as an example. In automotive, we continue to see growth. We talk about now it's $30 billion of contracted pipeline, and we're tracking to have $4 billion of dedicated auto revenues as early as 2026 and get around $9 billion by the end of the decade. The way I will talk about that is to give you some examples. I think auto is growing. We have a couple of vectors of growth coming in the next few years to answer your question. We're super excited about our entrance into a large scale of the PC as Microsoft is working on next generation AI PCs with the Copilot. I think we're excited about Snapdragon X Elite as one of the fastest processors of any laptop starting the second half this year. That's going to be new revenue for Qualcomm. The other one, we continue to believe in spatial computing. You look at our partnership with Meta and other ecosystems such as Google and Samsung. We think that augmented reality, mixed reality glasses are going to be a great companion device that you're going to have, and that could be another future opportunity for Qualcomm. And lastly, I think this whole industrial transformation is getting a significant tailwind from edge AI.
Okay, so now this question is for the benefit of our non-tech, watchers, right, the consumers. So tell us, what will be the Qualcomm capabilities that we will see in automotive in India? You spoke about how Qualcomm is innovating, particularly for India in the automotive space on the two-wheeler side. So what will be the Qualcomm capabilities we'll see in automotive and even PCs and, AR, XR?
Very good. So let me start with cars. I think first of all, our goal is to make sure that every car in India is connected to the cloud, and make sure your car is connected. The second thing is what we're doing, what we call the digital cockpit experience. All of those new screens in the car. How can you get entertained from the car? How can you get productive in the car? There's a lot of interesting conversation with companies thinking what some of the experiences are for entertainment and productivity when you are behind the wheel. And the part that I'm more excited about it from a consumer standpoint, as Gen AI comes to the car, and we're enabling Gen AI in our platforms, working with the Indian manufacturers, you'll be able to have a conversation with your car. And because the natural language is perfect when a consumer is behind the wheel. Now, if you think about PCs, what we have built is the best of both worlds. It's the best of mobile with the best of next generation PC in X Elite. And it's about having not only the fastest laptop, but make sure you're not compromising on the form factor, all-day battery life, and be able to run all of those AI use cases that we talk about for consumers and for the enterprises on the device. And I think the last one, I think that you asked the question is augmented reality, mixed reality. We see that this category, just using an example of the success we're having with Meta, not only on the Meta Quest devices, but now they have those smart glasses is in a partnership with Ray-Ban. And we are exceeding all expectations. Gen AI, it's perfect for glasses as well. Like in the car, it's easier for you to have a conversation or query, or even with images that you see in real time. So that's going to change how consumers are going to experience technology right in front of their eyes. That's an exciting development as well.
Let's talk about the Make in India opportunity and how Qualcomm is capitalizing on it.
Look, one of the conversations we have is the opportunity to look at the scale of India, to look of the fact that the entire globe is looking for diversified, resilient supply chains, and actually creates a very significant electronics and semiconductor industry. And I think we see a huge opportunity to capitalize as Indian companies, from startup companies to large conglomerates, looking into enter the space, whether it's industrial modules, eventually an Indian smartphone maker, a local PC maker, and of course we see a higher level of maturity on the automotive industry. That's very exciting, I think, for Qualcomm and for India as well.
And particularly on semiconductor, what is Qualcomm's play going to be in India?
This is the simple answer I can give it to you. Qualcomm's the largest fabless company in the world. Like many governments, we have same interest. We want to see a geographically diversified and resilient supply chain. So if India builds a semiconductor manufacturing capability or a hub, or even for assembly, Qualcomm's going to be there as a customer. And I think that's one of the biggest contributions we can provide.
Are you in talks with anyone?
We're in talks with many companies, and I think we're
encouraging.
And where
are the progress?
Good progress. I think we're encouraged by the interest of the Indian government and some of the companies to invest in semiconductors, and we are in dialogue to identify what technologies are very interesting for Qualcomm and how we can help.
3 years as the top job at Qualcomm, what's been your biggest high and your biggest learning and the mistakes perhaps you've made?
Look, it's always a difficult question to answer, but I'll say we're incredibly proud of the progress we made in automotive. I think we have been on a mission to diversify the company because we realized that the technologies that we have developed for mobile are relevant to so many different industry and new end markets.
And it's not because mobile is stagnating.
we want to continue to be the company that is always recognized by the leader in mobile innovation. But connectivity, computing, and artificial intelligence can be beneficial to so many different industries. In automotive, in a short period of time, I think we became a very significant provider of technology for the future of the automotive industry. I think that's something we're very proud. The next big focus of the company is to do the same thing on industrial, and in the Gen AI opportunity, especially at the edge. And I think if you ask me, what are the things that you learn as you grow and diversify, it's sometimes it's not easy for the companies to develop new core competences, to reinvent themselves. But if you look at our history from where we started and where we are, I think, I like to say Qualcomm, Qualcomm means quality communications. We started as a radio communication company, and now we look at ourselves as more of a computing company than a radio communication companies. And in the future, we want to become known as an artificial intelligence company for the edge. So we just need to continue in this mission, no matter how hard it is.
Cristiano, this has been a great conversation. Thank you very much for speaking with CNBC TV18.
My pleasure. Thank you.